Today we're gonna make probably my favorite chicken. I love to make this indoors, which I'm gonna show you today. It's great outdoors. It is Peruvian chicken with green sauce. All right, so we're gonna go over the ingredients here. It looks like a lot, but it's very simple. We just have the components for the chicken and the marinade, and we have the components for the green sauce. So for the chicken, I'm using one whole chicken. We're gonna cut the backbone out and cut it in half. You can also spatchcock the chicken. I'll go into that more in a second. If you're gonna do this outside, say you have a rotisserie, which is the best way to do it, don't do any of that. Just keep the chicken whole and then marinate it. So for the marinade, we have a quarter cup of soy sauce. I have 1 tablespoon of distilled white vinegar. I have 8 cloves of garlic that I turned into a paste. I have 2 teaspoons of diamond crystal kosher salt. I have half a teaspoon of black pepper. And then I have these 2 pastes. These pastes are pretty much essential to making this taste like the way you're looking for. So I'll link them. You could buy actually these 2 and this green one that I'll talk about in a second. They all come in a triple pack. Green one's not essential, but these 2 are more important for the recipe. I'll say right off the bat here, if you don't want to buy these pastes and you want to make this dish still, you can use other types of pepper paste. It'll have a little bit different flavor, but you know, it's something that you can still do and try it like if you don't want to go out and buy these. So we have ají panca. So it's panca hot paste. This one we're going to use 1.5 teaspoons of. And then I have ají amarillo. That one we're going to use 1 tablespoon of. This one's not as spicy, I think. They both had a spice to them when I used them. We're also going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil in here. So we'll blend this together and then we're going to marinate that chicken. And for the green sauce, I'll talk about this one last. We have 2 jalapenos. We have 1.5 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 tablespoon of distilled white vinegar, 2 garlic cloves. I have another lime here in case we need a little bit more lime juice. 3/4 cup of mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is very common in this, and this is like the Peruvian chicken if if you're in the city, or I'm sure they have places in New Jersey too, and probably all across the country. But the most popular one in the city is Pollo. This sauce I'm making here is supposed to be very similar to how they do it. The final ingredient is 1 bunch of cilantro. We're going to use most of the stems here. Now, my brother-in-law is Peruvian, literally from Peru. He told me, he's like, you got to get the huacatay. So this is the Peruvian black mint. So I'm going to test this and we'll add a little bit. You don't have to use it at all, but you can buy all 3 of these. They sell a triple pack of it. All right, let's get into doing the chicken right now. All right, for the chicken. So I just have this chicken. I always take chickens that I'm going to make out of the bag the day before, even if I don't salt it, which you wouldn't do with this. I like to dry them out just to get a lot of the liquid out. They roast better that way when they don't have like all of that solution that they often come with in the bag. So it's fairly dry at this point. Okay, the other side won't be as dry, but that's okay. I just want to cut this backbone out now. And I'm just going to start from here and I'm just going to cut in. And make sure you save this. You can make stock out of the backbone. So I have a couple of these. I keep them in a bag in the freezer. And then when I get more, then I'll make a stock. You know, throw in a little bit of chicken wings into it too. All right. So you see the chicken now is like this. Open up. Any little pieces of bone you can just remove here, but it should be good. All right, and we're just going to cut down the middle here. I'm using, I love these knives. These are this is a $13 knife. It's funny. This knife, it's like by Mercer. This knife I can get sharper than any knife. It's softer steel, so I can just resharpen it very easily. But I use it for all these because it's a $13 knife. It's not like I wouldn't be using like a $200 Japanese knife to do this. All right, so I'm just going to cut kind of in the middle here and right through. I cut some of the skin off already here. Like when they sell a chicken, there'll be a ton more skin. They'll like flap it in there and you can just like kind of clean it up a little bit if you like. You can also clean up a little bit over here too if you like. So if you like main course recipes, which I'm sure you do because you're watching this video, I want to let you know about our new cookbook, Sip and Feast Family Favorites. It has plenty of main courses in there. In addition to that, it has all the other sections you would expect to find in a cookbook. It is a beautiful cookbook, 256 pages, over 100 recipes, beautiful photo, nice instructions, good story in every single recipe. It has US customary and metric measurements, so everybody will be able to follow along with these easy recipes. Right above you is the link where you can buy it. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all other sellers. QR code if you're watching on TV. which I'm increasingly aware that the majority of you are watching on TV. It's also pinned in the comments and in the description. If you don't like cookbooks, you just like watching our videos, buy it for a friend or family who does. Thanks. All right, so let's make the paste. You could just throw everything in here. You could also put everything in a blender if you want to get it smoother. It's not a big deal. 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of diamond crystal kosher salt. I know you're thinking like you're already putting all the soy sauce in there with the salt. Just trust me on it. This is the salt level you want. Chicken needs a lot of salt. Okay, that's those 8 tablespoons of garlic paste, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 1/2 teaspoon black pepper. And look, this is like kind of a guide here. If you want more of this paste, you can definitely use it. Okay, so this is the ají amarillo. I'm just gonna use like a nice tablespoon of it, maybe a touch more. Of the ají panca, 1.5 teaspoons. I'm just gonna use 2 teaspoons. A couple tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, and then I'm just gonna whisk this together. Here's the chicken, and we're gonna marinate it. I'm gonna marinate this overnight. So what you can do is, I didn't even do this on, like for the recipe, but you know, a lot of recipes will say like, get under the chicken skin. They're like, get it all under. If you do that, you're gonna remove all the chicken skin and it's all gonna come off. So a simpler way would just be to poke some holes in it. And then the marinade will get some penetration into the breast area and the thigh. You put some in the legs too if you want. This is a good way. You'll keep most of the skin on when you do this. I'm telling you, I don't have a rotisserie. I'm buying one this year, an attachment for my Weber grill. I have a Weber charcoal. I've been like looking at them. I've been lusting over them like as the winter's coming to an end now.
You haven't stopped talking about it.
Well, I'm making so much on that rotisserie. I'm going to do leg of lamb. I'm going to do prime rib, picanha, which I love, you know, from the Brazilian restaurant. But anyway, I can't wait to put this on. I'm going to put 2 chickens on at one time. All right, so I'm just going to pour the marinade on top. Yes, I have bro gloves on because I really want to get all the marinade in there. I want to get it on all sides. You can almost like the marinade's kind of thick enough where you can kind of pick it up and just get it in there. But get it touching every part of the chicken. And what I like to do, it's a little bit more work, is I will, like I'm doing this now at 12:30, lunchtime. I will come in at like 6 o'clock and I will get all the marinade back on top of it again. I'll make sure any missing spots are hit up. Get in between that, between the leg and the wings and everything. And you can see how much is in the bottom here. So what I do is I always start it first off down, like the meat side down. That's like where I'm trying to put the most marinade into. Yeah, I gotta experiment, but there's probably a way to do this with like more of a dry one that you can probably stay on better. All right, just get it in like that. Cover it with plastic. And then the next day, when you're gonna do this, you're going to take it out at least an hour before you roast it in the oven. Tara, can you put this one in the fridge, please? Okay, and I'm gonna go and into my den here and get another one. Because I always keep a marinated Peruvian chicken ready in my den. All right, so I can't roast the chicken yet because I'm making another video during when I'm making this video. We're doing 40 clove garlic chicken, the French dish. But it'll be soon. That's why I wanted to get that one out of the fridge. And like I said, get it out for at least an hour before you roast it. So let's make the green sauce. This is 1 bunch of cilantro here. I'm just gonna cut off like the ends, the thicker part of the stems here. I gotta tell you, you can use them. They're still fine, but that should be enough for what we need. I'm actually gonna taste, and I wash that well because always wash your herbs well. I'm gonna taste this black mint. It's not what I expected.
Yeah, it's like salty mint.
Definitely not,
Yeah.
not reminiscent at all of the places that make it in the United States. I'm sure there's authentic Peruvian places that do. Tara has more experience with like, you didn't used to go to Pio Pio, you used to go to Tio Pio, right?
So Tio Pio is the place I used to go to in Brooklyn, but they're, I believe, Ecuadorian, but they still had like the Peruvian chicken and the green sauce.
Yep. So I got my blender and I'm gonna add all of that cilantro right in there. Just pack it in. I'm gonna put a little bit of this in there, but you do not have to. 1.5 tablespoons of fresh lime juice, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 2 garlic cloves, 1 teaspoon dried oregano. You can test your jalapenos before you add them. Last time I made this batch, I had to add like 4 jalapenos to get it where I wanted to, but you know, they vary so much in spice. Oh, it's pretty hot. That will probably be good. couple tablespoons of olive oil, and then 3/4 cup of mayo. All right, I'm gonna just knock down the sides here. I wanna make sure to get all that cilantro blended. And I have more cilantro because that looked like a weak bunch there, so I might just add a little bit more. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Want to blend it more than that, Tyler?
I think it should be blended more. I remember like when I would get it.
Yeah, they were just like, they had some type of blender that would like,
yeah.
And maybe this would be better in a food processor. I don't know. Blender's the one that normally gets it smoother. All right, we'll just go more. All right, I just did another minute. That's as good as it's going to get. That looks fine. This makes roughly 1.5 cups of green sauce. So if you want more, and you're probably going to want more, just double that recipe. I normally do that, especially if you want to serve with a lot of rice or roasted potatoes. It's great on that. All you have to do here is just taste it and season with salt and pepper if you want. Maybe a touch of salt, just a touch. All right, so there's our green sauce, and we're gonna start roasting that chicken. For you, it'll be a few seconds from now. For me, it'll be about 20 minutes. All right, so we got our green sauce made on the side. I pulled the chicken out. This one's been marinated for 24 hours, or maybe, no, less, but it was overnight, which is what you want. I have a 14-inch pan here, but you could use a baking dish, anything. If you have something like a wire rack that would fit in here, you prop it up a little bit, it'd be a little bit better. You can roast the other side too to start with, but I really like just to keep the chicken, the skin side, roasting the whole time. If you dry it off now, you can. You'll get a little bit better roasting, but I prefer to leave a lot of this paste on top of it still to give it more flavor. The choice is up to you. If you do dry it off, you can put a little bit of olive oil on top of it to help it roast, but there's enough oil left in here, it's gonna do fine. That's how I do the recipe, I dry it off. But, you know, calling an audible today. That's what you should do with your own cooking, you know, mix it up. I'm gonna roast this at 475 degrees Fahrenheit for the first 10 minutes. Then after that, we're gonna drop it down to 425 and continue roasting probably for another 30 to 35 minutes until when you go into the deepest part of the breast that you're registering 160. You could push to 165. This is marinated, it's gonna stay tender. It's gonna be perfect. You know, if you didn't wanna do it this way and you wanted to break up the pieces to roast it, then what you would do is you would pull your breasts out at that 160 and let your thighs continue on to a higher internal temp, at least 180. Okay, but this is gonna do great like this. So we'll be back in roughly about 45 minutes total time. So it's been about 35 minutes total, maybe like 37. I'm just gonna take it out. That's how it looks right now. We can check the fattest part of the breast right here. You can check the thighs and the legs because the way you make it flat here, they're gonna tend to be like over that temp anyway. Try to get through the thickest part of it. Yeah, my thighs are registering 180 right now. And breast, they're pretty good too. I'm gonna do it a couple more minutes and then it'll be good. So yeah, about 38 minutes I've done it so far. See how the bottom of the pan, all the stuff is at the bottom of it? What you can do, and I should have done it in the beginning, you could put a little bit of water in the pan. And this is like similar to what I did in the broiled chicken. Just the only reason you put the water there is just so the chicken doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. If you have a wire rack, you'll be fine. But I'll do it for just maybe 2 or 3 more minutes. All right, so we're gonna have the taste tester try it out, see what he thinks. All right, James is here to try the chicken. Yeah. Here's the rest of it right there. I just left 1/2 and cut him up a little bit. That's a breast and a wing there, James. I know you're not probably gonna eat it all, but I have another chicken recipe for you to try. Like both. There's bone on it, so I would just use a knife to cut a little bit up. Okay. And there's your green sauce too.
Do you want to try the wing though?
That looks good, James.
Yeah. I can only imagine how much better this will be on that rotisserie, or even just flat grilled on the grill.
All right, let's try some of this green sauce. The green sauce, so good.
Yeah, on rice too, right?
Yeah, but like, I'm gonna put some lime.
I mean, I don't know if people want to watch you eat the whole thing. I think they get the idea here.
I'm just gonna have one more bite.
Okay.
Yeah, with the lime too.
I can't wait to eat this tonight, and I have another one because I marinated one before to show them that you have to do it overnight. I knew he wouldn't give it as good of a review if I just put that one in the oven right away. So take the time to do it overnight.
By far, best chicken dish I've had. Like, by far. I almost want to give this an 11. I think it's like on par with the shrimp scampi roll, but at the same time, I think the shrimp scampi roll should have been a 10. I think I was just like really excited that day. I think you guys can tell by the way I was eating it. It's definitely a 10. It's so good by itself. And then when you have the green sauce with that, I think the green sauce could bump it up a point, honestly, together, but we're just rating the chicken. So good. So good. Like,
well, I really want you to make it.
I think this is gonna affect the garlic chicken rating because I don't think anything could top this.
Well, the garlic chicken is very different. It has vermouth in there. It's the James Beard created that recipe for Julia Child. It's called 40 clove garlic chicken. I think, Tara, you might like that one even more than this, right?
I don't know. I mean, I love this. Like, I would get this food once a week when I worked in Brooklyn, and I just like couldn't wait for every time I would get it.
I love when would you bring the Maduros with it too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those. We always appreciate you watching, coming in here every week, leaving comments. Tara and I read each and every one of them, even if so often we don't reply. And we will see you next time.